Oh, yay! That looks more impressive in person than it did through the spotting scope. Let's see if we can see this one. Look at that. That's a fantastic group for a 458 Magnum, even shooting off of a standing bench. I mean, I got to tell you, I'm a little bit leery of that recoil. You know, I had to really work at it so I didn't flinch, and on one of them I thought I did flinch, but wow.
That's a great group. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, you've got yourself a heck of a rifle there, buddy. Let me know when you want to sell it.
Appreciate it.
Well, everyone, we're out on the range finally with my friend Steve and his beautiful Kimber 8400 Caprivi rifle chambered for the 458 Lott. We're not playing games today.
No, that hillside better watch out.
Yeah, that hillside's in trouble, huh? So you can watch our earlier video if you want on mounting the scope on this. We put a lot of time and effort into it to do it right. And this is a quick release system. Let me just open that bolt. I'll take the bolt out for you so we're perfectly safe. You can see it, but these are quick release knobs on here. So what Steve wants to be able to do is to take that scope off if it's damaged, or if he just thinks he needs open sights. He's got them right here. In fact, he's got the express sights. He can have these babies custom tuned for his load at various distances. First one he said was at 50. Next one would probably be 75 or 100. Next one it could be at 150 or whatever he wants to set them up at. So it's a nice little system. And then you put the scope back on again and you're back in business. It should lock in pretty tight. But Steve will be testing that down the road just to see how dependable it is. So what we're going to do now is bore sight. Target's at 25 yards. That's about where scope setting about 1.5 inches above your bore is probably going to cross your line of sight. 25 to 30 yard range. So it's a good way to bore sight. So what we do is set this thing up and get the gun looking at the target, look down the bore, and just visually center the spot in the bore. Then look up at the crosshair, look back down, and dial the crosshair until it looks like it's at the same spot. That's getting pretty close. Couple tweaks here. That'll get us on paper at any rate, Steve. Now, do you want to be the first man to take the brunt of the...
It's all yours.
You sure?
Positive.
Sure. Thanks a lot. Wow. What are we shooting? Want to shoot this factory stuff from Barnes?
Yeah, let's do that.
Now, this is ammo I have left from a hunt long ago in Africa. I took a buffalo with this in a 458 Lott. That particular rifle was a Blaser R8 and did a great job. One shot, took a buffalo kind of right here, going back at an angle as he came out of a swamp. You know, he came out and gave me that look they're famous for. And I said, I think that's enough of that look. 500 grain Barnes bullet sure did the job on him. One shot kill. So now one thing about the controlled round feed action, which most people prefer for dangerous game, because it's always going to be bringing that empty out, or even if it's a full. But you're supposed to put them down into the magazine. It'll pick them up coming out of the magazine, rotate into battery, and then obviously kick it back out. But a lot of people think that you cannot single feed these things. But watch this. Most modern Mauser style controlled round feeds have a beveled face on that big extractor hook, and that allows you to snap over. Some people say, well, that's going to wear it out and break the spring, but I've been doing it for years and years on my Model 70s and my Kimbers and just all kinds of Mauser styles, and it works out just great. Good thing to know, though, because as Steve said, he wants to be able to, in a panic situation, if he's out of ammo or something and that buffalo is still coming, he can just drop one in like that.
Right.
And that's a lot faster than trying to shove one down into the magazine first. Not a big deal, but it might be if there's a buffalo in front of you.
Real big deal.
Now, this is going to be a bit painful because we're humped over. You'll notice that I'm sitting up fairly straight. You don't want a bench that makes you really crouch over, because then you're going to take it pretty hard on your shoulder. And I have got something I want to do later on that's going to improve this bench even more for shooting big kicking rifles. We've got time to get to it. It's some cool leg extensions that put it up to standing height, so you can actually stand like this while you're on the bench. to shoot the big kickers. We're going to see how much difference that makes. So we've got a round, we've got our target. We're going to try to get on target here before we go out to 100 yards, and then we'll talk about how to zero one of these for general purpose hunting. 458 Lott, 500 grain bullet, 2,200 feet per second, I would guess. And maybe let's just see if they say on here how fast this thing is supposed to go. I don't see it anywhere, do you?
No, I didn't.
No, just says that the 500 grain triple shock X bullet. But what I know about the Lott, it should be going around 2,200 feet per second. No, we don't need the chronograph for this one. We just want to get on paper here. See how much of a beating we can take. Red rubber recoil pad. It's an XL decelerator. Yeah. Been nice knowing you, everyone. Please come to the funeral. Better hold that front end down. We're not shooting a varmint gun here. I think I killed 2 hillsides there. Oh yeah, you don't want to shoot that 50 times in a row really fast.
You're dead center, 3.25 inches low.
Oh yeah, all right. Well, let's bring that baby up. There's an inch. You said it was 3?
3.25.
Topped out, that seems kind of weird. So, I want to tell you, Steve, that was so much fun that I'm going to let you have the next shot. I'm going to put some ears on. It's not bad, really. Don't flinch now. But hold that front end down. You bring a towel along so you can wipe up your tears?
No.
Yeah, hold that front end pretty well. What do you think?
Kicks.
It kicks, yeah. There's no way it's not going to kick.
Can't help it.
See where you hit. I didn't even look. I was too busy watching you. Folks, what this thing does... Huh?
You wanna look?
Is it good?
Dead center bullseye.
Dead center bullseye. All right. So, we're good at 30 yards now. We should be pretty good to go out to 100. We're going to do that in a bit. Before we do, though, I want to talk about this. Take your ears off so you can hear me. And help me out here. Let's just figure out what we know about this. The 458 Lott cartridge evolved after someone had some issues with the 458 Winchester Magnum. Now, the 458 Winchester Magnum was the 375 H&H, shortened, like all of the early Winchester belted Magnums based on the 375 H&H case. Those were all shortened so that they would work in a 30-06 length, standard length action, not a full length. So the 30-06 cartridge is maximum length is 3.340 inches, front to back. This thing is 3.6. The 375 H&H is 3.6. Doesn't mean you have to seat your bullet out that far and all that, but that's kind of the standard. So what Winchester was trying to do was to get pretty close to a 450 Nitro Express or maybe a 470 Nitro Express in energy, muzzle energy. They wanted 5,000 foot-pounds of muzzle energy, and they couldn't really quite get it out of that shortened case. So what they did was they played around with powders and longer barrels, and they scrunched it down really tightly. It had a compressed load, and they were just maybe squeaking it out. And they went to market with it, and boy, it just didn't work out. The powder turned out to be clumping because it was under such pressure. The bullets would sometimes even slide out a little bit, I've heard.
Yep.
So they had some issues with that. And one gentleman by the name of Jack Lott went to Africa hunting elephants or buffalo or something, and he had a problem with one not doing what it was supposed to do, and he got injured pretty severely.
He did. It almost killed him.
Was it a buffalo?
It was a buffalo.
God. So he thought, I am not too crazy about the 458 Winchester Magnum. I think I want to make it do what it's really supposed to do. Why don't we just make it the full-length Magnum? So he took the 375 H&H and he opened it up all the way. And he started doing his tests, and by golly, he was getting 2,200 feet per second. Sometimes even 2300 with a longer barrel, but generally trust it to be 22.
Right.
500 grain bullet going 2,200 feet per second generates well over 5,000 foot-pounds of energy, closer to 5,500.
Yep.
So bingo, there's the Lott. So he came out with that as kind of a wildcat in 1971, and boy, nobody was really doing anything with it legitimately until, was it Hornady that came out in 2002 with factory loads for it?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, who made it a Sammy spec cartridge? Who turned it over? Was it A-frame or A Square?
A Square, I believe, started.
Yeah, I think A Square actually got it Sammy spec'd. So it's an official cartridge. It's up there. You can buy the factory ammo as you see here, and the rifles and everything else, and it's really quite popular for the big stuff. The buffalo, the elephant. These days, not many people can hunt rhino because the poachers have already done it. But this is a big guy. So if you are looking for a lot of punch in a wide, heavy bullet, 500 grains is a lot of bullet, isn't it?
It is.
But I think you're going to find, Steve, as I have it, you don't feel the recoil nearly as much when you're standing up. So what we might do before we go to the 100-yard target, maybe one of us puts the targets up, the other guy can go get those longer legs to screw on this thing, and we can do our shooting standing up.
We can do that, and I also have shooting sticks.
Standing sticks?
Yep.
Oh, that's a good one. We'll use some of those too.
Okay.
So, okay, folks, we'll be back in a bit. Thanks. Well, these are the long legs that I bought for this. This is a Stooky bench. They're pretty pricey, but oh my goodness, are they incredibly well built and solid. And he told me last year, I've got some tall legs if you're shooting some big stuff that really kicks. It can help. So I thought, well, why not? And I've been waiting for an opportunity or an excuse to use them. So that's what we will do now. We'll take these big long legs and we'll screw them on down here where the sitting size legs are, and that ought to bring our bench right on up here. Pretty nice. So we've got to clear this off and switch the legs. Where do you predict we're going to hit?
Dead center.
No, I pulled it left.
You're half-inch low, dead center.
Really, I was dead center. I thought I pulled that baby. Yeah, there's some bite to that guy. No doubt about it. But it really helps to be standing up, Steve. You want to do one standing, or you think it's too high?
It's too high.
Okay. Well, folks, that's how this rifle shoots. We're getting on target. Now, you said we're how low, Steve?
Half-inch.
Half-inch low. We could shoot a group, much as it pains me to do it. Did you say you had some hand loads?
I do.
That are grouping really well? Or do you
Well,
want me to just group this?
They've never been shot.
Oh, they've never been shot. All right.
Test load.
Let's just fire for him some brass here. I will shoot two more using that same hold and see how close I can come, but I'm afraid I'm going to flinch my way right out of a good group. I'm breathing a little bit from running down there and back, folks, to put up that camera, but I need every excuse I can get for this job. I'll modify this a little bit from that last shot and keep my thumb off of my nose. What did I do, Steve?
Same low, half-inch left.
Half-inch left. I blew it already. Half-inch off of your elephant. It's a small target, you know. All right.
Got a good group there.
Good group?
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
just a little bit low.
All right, so
Yeah,
you're gonna want to crank this baby up a couple clicks. You're gonna have to move your cap.
I can. Yeah, that's easy.
Yep.
But take a peek.
We're a peeking. Oh gosh.
For this,
I'm
you can't do any better.
Holy mackerel! I'm happy to shoot that well with most of my 6.5s and 7s and 30s.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah,
Lord.
That's exceptional performance from a rifle like that.
Factory ammunition, factory rifle.
Yep.
The whole thing is just, wow. So, you tickled you bought this thing?
Yeah.
You got it used though, right?
Yes.
I think they still make it. Now, I used one of these Caprivi rifles, just like this, but it was chambered 375 H&H, which is a pussycat compared to the recoil on this thing.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, with your 375, you're shooting a 300 grain bullet tops. Every once in a while, somebody will have a 350, but you don't see it in factory loads. And that's considered your minimum for buffalo. This thing is more like your maximum. I mean, it's just amazing how much it puts out for energy.
Yeah, and this will take care of anything that walks. You know, right bullet placement, of course, but
yeah.
But in terms of the horsepower behind this thing, I mean, it's got everything you could ever ask for.
Yeah, I think Jack Lott had it figured out when he made this. So, an interesting thing about the Lott cartridge, when he was building these, he was taking 375 H&H cases and putting a 45 caliber bullet on it. But how's that going to work? Well, he would do it. He would shave down the heel of the bullet so that it would fit inside of the 37 caliber neck, and then seat it out to touch the lands, and then fire form it. Wow. That makes sense to you guys?
Yeah.
So he had the neck down 375 case. He had to put a 45 bullet on it because his bore now in the barrel was 45 or 58. So he shaved down the heel or the shank of the bullet to fit into that 375. And then he seated them out long enough so that they would touch the rifling inside of the barrel to get a good firm connection, so that when it went kabang, the brass formed this. And what happened when it all worked out just great, but the result was when you take that neck and you flare it out that far, you're losing length. So when they went to the Sammy specs and showed them their cartridge, they used those measurements, and as a result, this is a little bit shorter in length, the case itself, than the 375 H&H and the 416 Rem mag in most of them.
Yeah, it's 3/10 of an inch longer than the 458 Win Mag.
That's much longer than that, yeah. And that made the difference in the powder, and everybody's just, this is becoming one of the more popular cartridges over there.
And you can load it down. I mean, you can go, they've got bullets now that you can go way down. Yeah. And theoretically, if you load it down far enough, you could get down to whitetail deer. But
what's the lightest bullet they're offering in it?
I'd have to look it up again.
250?
I think it's 250.
Sound right?
Yeah.
Wow. Pretty crazy. Well, other than that, classic controlled round feed rifle.
Yep.
I mean, the Kimbers have really done they're kind of the new Winchester Model 70, really.
It feels like it.
Yeah. You know. They're both pretty similar. I think they're doing a great job with, all the things you want for an African rifle.
Yep.
You get your sling up here, by the way. Barrel band slings are on these big kicking rifles so that you don't have a stud coming down right here and ripping your fingers off from the recoil. Yep. Yeah, that's why that's on there. Yep. And then the hood is over the front sight to keep the sun from glaring off that ivory bead in there, so you don't get all that glare, so you can actually see the darn thing. And then, of course, your open sights, you've got a standard standing sight right there. It's really durable and rugged, pretty thick. It's not going to get easily knocked off. But then you've got these flip-ups, but they come blank. So you have to notch those. And, while you're shooting it like this, you notch them a little bit, and you shoot, and you notch a little bit until they're hitting right where you want them to. That sounds like painful work, too.
Too many practice rounds.
Yeah. Anything else about this rifle you'd like to point out?
No, I just think it's comfortable. One of the things about large caliber rifles is the actual weight of the rifle. Mm-hmm. The idea is that the heavier the rifle, the more recoil it absorbs and less that you absorb.
Yeah.
But there's a balance there, being able to carry the rifle. It used to be that they had gun bearers and stuff, and that's not necessarily the case anymore.
No, I mean, you can get them. I've been over there. I've had them say, hey, you want him to carry your rifle? And I've always said no, just because I want to be my own man, do my own thing. But I can see where some days you'd say, I'm tired of carrying.
You got a 12, 14-pound rifle. At some point, you're going to get tired.
Yeah, right? No kidding. Yeah. And that's why so many, you see this so often.
You do.
It's just comfortable to carry it.
And it's fast to get down and get
out
of it. So.
Yeah. As long as you're doing it safely. And it really is safe because you're controlling that muzzle. People will say it's not a safe way to carry it, but you've got your hand on it and you can see where that muzzle is.
Absolutely.
So if somebody comes in front of you, you can drop it down. Whereas if it's pointing up behind you, you don't know what's happening behind you.
Yep.
You spin around and it slides back like they often do, and you're pointing right at somebody. So I really can't argue against this carry style. I like it. All right, I think we're about done with this rifle.
We are. Good, thank you.
Yeah, thank
Good.
you for bringing it up, Steve.
Good job.
I really
It's fun.
appreciate it.
It was a lot of fun.
We'll have to do it again sometime when we work up some loads. You want to load some for it?
Sure,
You
bet.
do you have dies?
Yes.
You got all the stuff?
I have everything. 100%
Hey,
of everything.
Hey, folks, we're going to do some 458 Lott hand loading videos.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. We'll do those hand loading videos and put them on RSO TV because we can't necessarily show how to make ammunition on social media sites, but boy, we sure can on RSO TV. Oh, hey, one thing we can say, of course, is it's got that 3-position safety.
That was a big deal to me.
Was it?
That was a really big deal to me. I wasn't going to buy a rifle. I mean, I have other rifles with the safety on the tang, but
Right.
This to me is more natural. It works.
You're used to it. A lot of guys don't get it, but you've got 3 positions. The first one all the way back, fully safe, trigger doesn't go, bolts lock down. And that's a big deal. You're walking through the brush and the jungle and whatnot all, and if that bolt doesn't lock down, like it doesn't in this position, a limb grabs it, round goes out, lion charges, click, uh-oh. So there's a value in that. And the other value is when you're in that middle position, the trigger still doesn't go. You got to pull it fully forward for the click. So the advantage is you're in the first position right here, thinking that there's a lion, a buffalo, whatever. You're ready, and you do just have 1 push,
Right.
not 2. But you can also unload without the danger of it accidentally going off if you do something funky to get your rounds out. So it's a nice system.
It is.
All right. All right, God, that's it for now, folks. The Kimber Caprivi 8400, pretty well-made African rifle. And if you like a thump on the shoulder, 458 Lott is the way to go. This is Ron Spomer thanking all of you for watching and joining us, especially thanking Steve for bringing his rifle up here to show us all and letting us shoot it and beat ourselves up.
Stories to tell.
The kind of fun we like to have.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up. Like the channel if you can. Check us out at ronspomeroutdoors.com blog site as well. And we'll see you down the road. Meantime, hunt honest and shoot straight.